Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. They always have been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekly morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about a massive bull flag that is playing out right now on the Bitcoin chart. Last week, before we broke for Christmas, we drew our prediction for how Bitcoin would play out the next 2 weeks. And so far, Bitcoin has been following that prediction to a T, going through a correction down to a major uptrending level of support that has been in effect ever since this time last year. And right now, Bitcoin is gearing up for the final weeks of the deliberations of the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. Are we going to see an approval before the January deadline, or are we going to see a denial? Are we going to see a massive takeoff on Bitcoin, or are we going to see a crash because of the denial or because of a sell the rumor style event when the news breaks that BlackRock is actually approved for its ETF? We're going to be discussing all of that and more in today's episode of Coffee and Crypto Live. I'm very excited to be here. Had a great Christmas. I hope you guys did as well. Got a lot of cool gifts, gave some cool gifts. And today, I want to share with you guys the gift that is cryptocurrency and the gift that is technical analysis. So let's go ahead and read some chat. We're going to dive right on into it. We got a lot to cover. Jojo Brown's in chat. Marley 120 Threest? Threest or Thirst? I don't know. Thirst. Let's call it Thirst. Joe Bollier, Joey Van Englenberg, Bob Riley, Pete Schwartz, Marcelo Cufel Carmano is in chat. Jason Berry, Jeremy Shorter, Stalden Studiet. Cool names, guys. Pew Pew Poom 2, Crypto Jeeb. I've seen that guy before. X Nibo, Dharmendra Patel, Paul Mudlong RN. There's a bunch of you guys in chat. Soju Bean, his boy Elroy. Bob Riley, Christina Orozco, Satchit321, Pete Schwartz, Queen, and Pete Schwartz again said pumpkin spice is their favorite flavor. Pumpkin spice is incredible. I don't care if you call me a basic white girl. That stuff is good. If you've ever had a pumpkin spice chai tea latte with espresso in it from Starbucks, listen, you can make fun of me if you want. I don't care. That stuff tastes good. You got to try it next time October rolls around. Let's go ahead and jump on over to CoinMarketCap. Right now, we've got Bitcoin trading at $42,850. It is up 0.2% over the last 24 hours, down 2.5% in the last 7 days. We're seeing a small correction on Bitcoin, but that's okay. We are very excited to see that correction for reasons we'll be detailing as the stream goes on. Ethereum is doing quite well with a rally over the last 24 hours, up 4%. It is currently trading at 23.32. Binance going on a tear, up roughly 20% in the last 24 hours. Snoop Dogg stock percent in the last 7 days. Guys, I'm very, very excited about the cryptocurrency portfolio that we've been putting together. As you guys know, I've been dollar cost averaging into the cryptocurrency market and mainly into the altcoin space over the last several weeks. I'm very excited that portfolio is up a good bit already. Very happy about that. Very excited to see where that's going to go. I think we're up almost 20% on that portfolio, and some of those altcoins have not really popped off yet. It's going to continue to run. We've got XRP still trading sideways. If you put popcorn in a pan, from this one popped and then that one popped and then this one popped and that one popped, and that's essentially what we're seeing in cryptocurrency right now. We're seeing each individual. Solana, before that it was Cardano, and after Cardano, before Solana started really going on a tear, Avalanche was doing very well, but individually one of them are going to rally quite substantially. Having some interesting, in 1 second, let me see if something's going on here. 1 second. Let me see if I can do something about that. I do know something that I can do about that. Actually, let's go ahead and jump back onto the chart, and we'll get started with our technical analysis. I have learned something with technical analysis and with the streaming issues. If there's ever an internet issue, the best thing to do is to not move the screen, because it means that the internet will require less bit rate. So we're just going to go ahead and go onto our chart. so that you guys don't have to worry about the buffering, just like we did in the olden days. And we will go ahead and get started. Before we get started, I do want to first let you guys know that today's episode of Coffee and Crypto Live is brought to you by, right down here, boom, NordVPN. If you guys are not already familiar with NordVPN, they are an absolute essential in the cryptocurrency space for security. The reason is because if you make a ton of money in the cryptocurrency space and you end up losing all of it to a hacker, or if you're trying to make a ton of money in the cryptocurrency space and you're not able to do what you want with it because you were being locked out of certain accounts or whatever by your government or by your ISP or whoever it is, then you want to be able to browse the internet freely and you want to be able to browse the internet safely. Those two words are kind of the cornerstone of what NordVPN talks about. If you guys want to be able to, browse the internet safely and freely, then make sure that you sign up for NordVPN with the link in the description box down below. All right, let's go ahead and continue on with the show. Let's look at our chart here. I'm going to keep an eye on chat to see if anything's going on, see how you guys are doing with the internet. I will look into that as soon as we get off. That is very strange. I've never had any issues with the internet right here, so I will look into that as soon as the stream is over. If it is absolutely unbearable, then I will see if there's something I can do live, but otherwise we'll continue on with the show if it's something that is at least manageable. You guys feel free to tell me what's going on there. I don't see anybody saying anything anymore. It looks like things are good on my end. The stream looks like it's playing well on my end. So let's go ahead and jump on into some technical analysis here. Right now, Bitcoin is sitting in this massive ascending wedge. And if I go to another chart here, you'll be able to see it a little bit more clearly. Bitcoin is in this huge ascending wedge. There's this long-term uptrending level of support here that Bitcoin has been respecting for quite some time, using it as either support or resistance, depending on the exact time frame that we were around that level. Bitcoin has been using that as critical resistance for some time now, and as critical support for some time now. And last week, before we left for the holiday, streaming smoothly now, must be, let's see, seem to be gone anyway. Yes, I think going on the stream maybe there might be more people on the internet right now than there normally are here in this area. So we'll see if there's anything that we can do about that after the stream. But being on the chart ought to help because it's less for the camera to handle. This is a 4K camera feed coming in here, so that takes a lot of bandwidth to be able to maintain that. Anyway, before we went into Christmas, I drew this kind of rough line to outline where I thought Bitcoin was going to go. And so Bitcoin did actually manage to rally up to our local resistance at $44,500. That happened before we broke for Christmas. Right around Christmas Eve, the Friday, the 22nd, we did top out at 44.5 and we began a corrective movement. And just as we predicted, we ended up coming back down to $41,600. We predicted that we would come back down to this uptrend. At that point in time, the uptrend was around 41.6 to 41.7. That's where we fell back down to. And the next stage of that prediction is a break to the upside. So let's kind of analyze what needs to happen next if this prediction is going to come true. You can kind of go ahead and imprint this in your mind. This has been our prediction thus far. I'm going to remove the parts that have already happened. You can see that that's what we were thinking was going to happen. We're thinking that something like this is going to happen next. So let's continue along here with our analysis. I think a general uptrend from here is going to be apropos. Bitcoin's corrective movement was preceded by two spinning top candlestick formations. For anyone who is new to technical analysis, spinning top candlestick formations look a little something like this. They have a candle body in the center, and they have a wick on either end. And they are very, very important technical indicators because they indicate that we have indecision in the market. They indicate that we have a sense of restlessness or like a sense of longing in the market. The market's not really sure exactly what it wants. It doesn't know what it's trying to do. It doesn't know which direction it would prefer to go. So the spinning top candlestick formation helps the market to reverse. It typically indicates that there is a change in direction that is coming. We're currently seeing that exact same thing form right here after we saw a red, green, red candlestick formation here. Red, followed by green, followed by red. There is now a green candlestick formation that is coming in, and that candlestick formation is very significant because it is a spinning top. If we look at some of our technical indicators, we can see that they're still relatively bearish. We've got MACD continuing to diverge bearish on itself. We have a general downtrend there, so the bottom is not really confidently in just yet, but with another day or two, we may end up seeing that bottom come in a little bit more confidently. This uptrend right here is very significant as well because that's where we're holding, and at the same time, the 20 daily exponential moving average is sitting there to hold us. We are sitting right now exactly on top of the 20 daily exponential moving average, and the question on everyone's mind is whether or not we're going to be able to hold the 20 DEMA and whether or not we're going to be able to bounce off of the 20 DEMA and go through a much larger rally back up to 44.5 and above. And that's the question that I want to really analyze today, is whether or not Bitcoin is going to have the strength that it requires to set a foundational bottom here and continue to rally. And to do so, we've actually got to go back to CoinMarketCap for a little while. The reason is because we need to keep in mind that the entire cryptocurrency market does not move just based on Bitcoin. A good portion of the market actually moves on its own. And if we look at the market capitalization data here for the last month, you can see, generally speaking, even in the last year, generally speaking, market capitalization has been continuing to increase from 1 trillion all the way to 1.67 trillion. We have added about 40% market capitalization in the span of 2 short months. A massive, massive movement to boot, to no doubt. And at that same time, we've had a major, major high on fear and greed ever since back here in October. This was only started collected. They only started collecting this in July of 2023. But you can see back here around that same time. This is October the 12th. Right here is October the 12th. You can see fear and greed just went through the roof. And it's been up here between 60 and 80 for some time. And that is still at a high. We're still sitting at 70. There's still a large degree of greed. And fear and greed is, I don't use fear and greed as much as I used to, simply because I've realized that it's kind of a bit of a lagging indicator. It more tells us where we are rather than where we're going. And I don't need fear and greed to tell me where we are as much as I want to see something that can tell me where we're going. But this chart over here, the market capitalization, just the price action itself, is essentially undeniable. There is a very concrete, solid, and strong uptrend. Something very significant happened right here that kicked off a bull market. First of all, we found support a half dozen times on $1 trillion market cap, but then we also had the hype around the Bitcoin ETF, and all of that comes together to give us an exceptional amount of confidence that things are going the way that we want them to. Even looking at volume here, we can see that volume has started on a major uptrend. Huge, huge uptrend on the volume here. Massive higher highs, massive higher lows. The lowest low that we get right now on volume is looking like $45 billion, where before it was $17 billion. That is 3 times the bottom. That is very, very significant. So when we look back over here at Bitcoin and we're seeing that it is correcting and we're trying to ask ourselves the question, is this rally over? We need to look beyond Bitcoin to the broader ecosystem of the cryptocurrency space. Has the market actually slowed down and stalled, or are we going to be able to see a major rally continue from here? That's kind of the question that we are going to be focusing in on today. And there's 2 cryptocurrencies that really help to tell us that story, and they are in the top 10. In fact, they're in the top 5, and both of them are as follows: Binance and Solana. And I want you guys to remember what I talk about sometimes with what I call the altcoin engine. The altcoin engine is extremely significant because when you see a bull market forming, you will almost invariably see the initiative from Bitcoin and the altcoins go back and forth and back and forth. You will see Bitcoin go on a tear, and then you will see altcoins go on a tear. And you will see Bitcoin go on a massive rally, and then you will see the altcoins go on a massive rally. And when one isn't rallying, normally it's correcting. That might be sideways, that might be down. At the end of the day, they go back and forth and back and forth. And that's why if you look at something like the Bitcoin price action chart over the last year, and you look at the last few months, there's going to be some up and down. Bitcoin's basically just been up and to the right, to be honest with you. That's not always the way it's going to be, but that's pretty much the way it has been. If you look at Ethereum, it's in large part kind of just been up and to the right. But if you get into some of these smaller cap altcoins, they're kind of doing more of the kind of popcorn kernel-y approach to things, where they just kind of moonshot just overnight, or they go up and then they come back down. Binance was at 212 recently. It's at 309 right now. It's up 50% in 2 months. All of that averages out into the market capitalization itself going through a massive rally on its own. And you can see that right here. We're in the second run of this bull market, and this one is more substantial than the first. If you look at market capitalization here, I think you can see what I see. It's Christmas time, so I will ask you, do you see what I see? Do you see it? It's right there. A star, a candle in the night. We're seeing Bitcoin rally from 800 billion to 1.6 trillion in a year. That's a doubling. Market capitalization doubled. Doubled. Can we say it again? It doubled. Awesome. We had one massive rally from 800 billion to 1.2 trillion. Correction down to 1 trillion. Rally up to 1.67. This is the second major run of the bull market. Is it going to pause? At some point, yes. At some point, yes. There is going to be a corrective movement. Has that occurred yet? No. Do we have an indication that that's about to occur? Not necessarily when we're seeing the kind of things happening in some of these altcoins. What I believe is going on right now is that you've got the likes of Solana leading the market. If you look at the last year, it rallied from $10 to $107. It has 10x'd in a 3-month period. Almost 10x, about 7x in a 3-month period. Massive rally. Up 900% in the last 365 days. Binance is on a tear. So has Bitcoin lost the strength that it needs to hold here and rally further? No. Bitcoin has not lost the strength. The strength, as it tends to do during bull markets, is shifting around. I really like to think about this, and it's sad that this is the best analogy that I can come up with, but it is the best analogy that I have found over the years. I like to think about it like warfare between the bulls and the bears. If you are a general and you are directing operations in a certain theater, your concern is not to win every single battle. It's to win the overall war. The overall war is measured on the total chart, on the total market capitalization charts. And I think we can confidently say that the bulls have been hands down winning that battle. They've been winning that war, actually. We have continued to march higher on total market capitalization with almost no stopping for the last 13 to 14 months. There have been minor corrective movements of no more than 20% at extreme. That general doesn't care as much as far as from a tactical point of view. From a human point of view, surely. But from a tactical point of view and a grand strategy point of view, he doesn't care as much about each individual little battle, i.e. which altcoin is doing well. He doesn't even necessarily mind if the main force, Bitcoin, has to take a step back sometimes so that the supporting infantry can move forward and win another battle 30 miles down the line, whatever it may be. The point is, the overall war is being won. So we need to look at cryptocurrency from the lens of looking at cryptocurrency, not just from the lens of looking at Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency is a thriving ecosystem. It is no longer just about Bitcoin like it was 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. It is very important for us to remember that. And so with that remembrance, what do we do with it? With that remembrance, let us remember that Bitcoin can take a breather and the altcoins can step in and pick up the slack. It's a little bit like if you have a large company. If one person calls out, you might have 1,000 other employees that can pick up the slack. And at any given time, you might have 2 to 5% of your workforce out, but you just account for that. It's a similar thing in crypto. Right now, Bitcoin is taking its breather, and many of the other altcoins are pumping and keeping the enthusiasm up. And so do I think that Bitcoin is going to end up dropping down through here? No. I don't believe that it's going to end up breaking straight through this uptrending level of support. And if it does, my floor, as it was before we went on Christmas break, is here at $38,000. There is still a Bitcoin CME futures gap down there. It's still there. It's right there with a floor at $39,000. Do we need to fill that? Maybe. Could it happen? Absolutely. Will it? I'm kind of doubting it, but it's possible. Is that a bad thing? No. It's not. It is not a bad thing at all. The reason is because it'd be a 13% drop. That is a very, very, very conservative drop. It'd be bigger than anything we've seen recently. But it would not at all be a bad thing for the cryptocurrency space. It would be very good for Bitcoin to have that corrective movement, just like some of its compatriots have had. So where do we go from here? Well, as we said, I believe that the next leg of Bitcoin is going to look a little something like this. So far, we predicted that it would come back down to 20 EMA and this uptrending level of support. That's what we've done. From here, I think that you're going to break and you're going to start rallying to the upside. I'd like to see a couple more days before I'm totally certain about that, but that's where I think we're going next. We have our buy signal. We have our take profit. It's at 46.5 to 49.2, and I do think that Bitcoin is going to be moving in that direction. There's a lot of exuberance in the space. The altcoins are not going to have the impetus, are not going to have the initiative forever. We are going to continue to see bullishness in the cryptocurrency space so long as there is this idea that we're going to see a potential BlackRock Bitcoin ETF approval coming in January. And if we do see a Bitcoin BlackRock ETF approval in January, I do believe that you're going to see a massive rally on altcoins and on Bitcoin. Maybe not right away. It could be a sell the rumor event. But I think there's going to be a massive rally on altcoins and and on Bitcoin. And a good bit of the reason for that is simply because there is going to be so much money flowing into the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. And keep in mind, a lot of that money that's going to be flowing into the Bitcoin space, I suppose the Bitcoin space to start with, but probably soon thereafter the Ethereum ETF will be approved as well. When we see that massive amount of money flowing into the Bitcoin space, first of all, remember, it's all physically backed. Has to be. It's an ETF. It's a physically backed ETF. It's a spot ETF. And also keep in mind that much of that money is flowing into Bitcoin in the form of IRAs, 401ks, and tax advantage retirement accounts. Now, you can move money around in those retirement accounts. So you could sell the Bitcoin and you could buy the stock market, which is a good point. But to keep in mind, there are plenty of people that also have their money locked up in the stock market in those advantaged accounts that they can't get out of those accounts. But if a Bitcoin ETF now exists, they could consider selling some of their stock market assets for Bitcoin, which many of them may think would outperform the cryptocurrency market. And so with a Bitcoin spot ETF, you suddenly have access to, probably $25 trillion of investment that wasn't there before, because you can't sell it without a penalty. You can't invest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency by moving it around like that. At least to my knowledge, I could be wrong. You can roll things over into other Roth IRAs and everything, but the point is, you can't do it on Fidelity. You can't do it on Vanguard. Sure, you can roll it over into iTrust Capital or whatever, and there are good products like that, right? I believe that. But most people aren't going to do that. Most people are going to say, I can't get my money out of my stock portfolio because, first of all, they might not know that they can move it into a tax advantage account into Bitcoin. Or two, they just don't want to. Or three, they don't want to. They think that the only way they can do that is by selling it out of that account, taking the penalty, and then buying it on Coinbase. So there's a lot of barriers that all of a sudden, even if they're in their mind, all of a sudden are gone. And you can go and click 5 buttons on Fidelity or on Vanguard or on Robinhood or wherever your retirement account is and say, boom, beam, bang, I now no longer own, I just sold 10% of our stocks, I'm buying Bitcoin. That was technically possible before, but it was highly discouraged, either because it was difficult and people didn't know how to do it, or it wasn't heard of because as big as iTrust Capital is in the cryptocurrency space, it's not very well known in the rest of the world just because it's a newer company. Or people think that they have to sell it out of their advantage accounts. So when that comes, I do expect that you're going to see a large amount of money leaving the stock market into Bitcoin. That's not going to put a big dent on Bitcoin, on the stock market. I don't think that's going to put a big dent on the stock market. The United States stock market is worth, $40 trillion. I do believe that it'll have a big impact on Bitcoin, even if it's not right away. And most people realize that. Most people understand that component of things. There's a huge amount of investment coming. That's why the Ys right now have been buying Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and altcoins for the last 3 months. That's why this massive rally is taking place. Because we had the news that the BlackRock ETF was filed for, but lately we've actually had some confidence that it will actually occur. That is huge. And so is this correction the end of Bitcoin? Have we seen the massive drop? Do we see a massive drop coming in? No. I think that Bitcoin is going to hold here. I think it's going to play out this bull flag. It's going to do exactly what it's supposed to, and it's going to break bullish, and it's going to go on a massive run in the next couple of weeks. That's what I think is going to happen. I think the next leg up is coming, and from there, it starts getting hard to tell where we're going to go, because we've got so much exuberance. We can try and figure out the strength of the bulls, which I believe is very strong right now. We can try and figure out where the resistance levels are, which is very strong right now. But we do not have historical context for what happens when a Bitcoin ETF gets approved in the United States. We don't have historical context for that. So to some degree, we are in uncharted territory, and we're going to have some learning to do. But we can at least say that it is going to be a remarkably bullish fundamental event, and then the debate simply comes down to whether or not it's going to be bullish in the short term or in the long term, or, and I think this is ultimately the answer, both. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto Live. If you're new here, my name is Jeb McAfee. I've been doing technical analysis on the cryptocurrency space for the last 6 years, here doing cryptocurrency YouTube for the last 5 years, and I love what I do. I love bringing you guys analysis on the cryptocurrency markets. And if you want to learn more about technical analysis, I'd encourage you to check out the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. You can find the link for that in the description box down below. And if you go over to CT2A, then you will be finding access to training where you're going to learn everything that you need to know about technical analysis so you can start analyzing the markets exactly the same way that we are right now. You can find CT2A with a link down below. You're going to get access to over 45 high-quality educational videos teaching you everything from the very basics to the most advanced concepts that cryptocurrency has to offer. And I'm going to be showing you how to do the kind of technical analysis that we do every single day here on the channel. So make sure to check it out with the link in the description box down below. Any of our alumni, feel free to let people know what you think in the chat box over there. Speaking of chat, let's go ahead and read some chat. I do want to, I'm going to go ahead and put it on full screen and see if it buffers. If it buffers too bad, you guys can tell me. Actually, I'll put it back on the chart just to make sure since I don't know. Let's see. Let's read some chat here on my phone. Let's see. Pew Pew Poom 2 said it's definitely not going to be a sell the news event. I agree. I don't think it's going to be a sell the news event either. Jokej Leon donated $5, said, you remember Wolf stock? Is it possible to go past 10? Mara did. So Wolf is a mining company that we talked about. Haven't had a chance to really look at it, but oh man, look at that. Ha! That's awesome. That is awesome. You brought up this stock a couple of days ago, right before we went into the holiday. By the way, we just had, I think, 2 people sign up for financial coaching down below, so shout out to them. Yeah, we did. Shout out to John. I won't say the last name, but shout out to John for signing up for financial coaching. But we talked about this stock last week before we left, and I said, look, it's in this, I don't know much about the stock, but from what I'm reading, because we read the financials, we looked at the statements, we looked at some of the fundamentals of the stock. In this huge pattern, this is a mining stock. They got about $20 million in revenue or so. We said, look, it's in this huge pattern. Volume's great. Strong uptrend. Doesn't have to go far. I mean, look, the rally here that had to go from the support to the resistance is less than half the way that we had to back here. So, yeah, I mean, there's obviously, historically, recently, enough strength to break through that level. If we break through that, that's obviously a trade you could go into. I mean, MACD, we looked on the weekly chart. That line comes from the weekly chart. See, the MACD is just insanely bullish. RSI is insane right now. If you go over to, let's go to Wolf stock. TeraWolf. Let's see here. You can see the revenue and everything going parabolic. They did not recently have an earnings call. I don't think they did. Am I missing anything? No, they did not. No, of course not. No, it's not the end of the quarter yet. They won't release that for a little while, but they're projecting a lot of growth. 4 million, 10 million, 12 million, 15 million, 19 million. Nice. Net income is still grossly negative, but is getting better. It's getting to be in better shape than it was. So, is this going to continue rallying? I would say so. I don't know if it has the PE ratio around here. Balance sheet's looking good. $300 million in assets. That's roughly staying stable. So without increasing their assets very much, they're greatly increasing revenue. This is just kind of the only reason I'm really showing this is because I'm probably not going to buy this, but there's an opportunity here that I might. But I want to show you guys how you kind of do financial analysis on some of this. There's all kinds of places. Google even has it. That's what we're looking at right here. Show some of the different fundamentals. So you do the same thing in a cryptocurrency, just slightly differently. Is this something that I think is going to go to 10? Let's go off a log real quick. Maybe. I mean, if this rally looks big on the logarithmic chart, but it's really kind of nothing on the regular chart. I could definitely see a major rally happening here. This is a very old company, by the way. This company is decades old. They weren't always into Bitcoin mining, obviously, but there's a huge amount of volume. I'm actually kind of tempted to buy some of this. I'm not going to lie. I'm tempted to go and buy some of this over in my brokerage account. Very tempted. Did this before. I am tempted. I might do it. I honestly might do it. We might end up looking at some more mining stocks. Not a bad idea. I'd have to look at their hash rate and everything, but we will see. Jerome, who's a member of the channel, said, how soon after ETF is approved will money start flowing in? Will the ETF be live right away? We don't exactly have all the details on that because we have to kind of wait for it to be approved to know exactly how everything's going to play out because we're still kind of waiting on what the SEC is going to approve. And part of what they're approving is the actual rollout plan. What we do know is that it is being applied for the average retail investor. After it's approved, we don't know for sure it's going to go live same day, but we can pretty realistically assume that after it's approved, it's going to go live ASAP. ASAP. As soon as it goes live, as soon as it gets approved, it's going to be live as quickly as humanly possible without screwing everything up. And part of the reason for that, I think, is because many of the ETF applicants are probably all going to get approved at the same time. I think that you're going to see multiple approvals all at the same time. And when we do see approvals, they're all going to kind of race to see who can get to market first, because there might only be hours in between them all being approved, if that's what happens, and being to market. So I think that they'll be live almost certainly. When will money start flowing in? That depends. There's a lot of times that we've had launches with the traditional markets where we've seen inflows take a very long time. If you'll remember, what was it called? I can't even remember what it was called. NYDIG put it together. There was a project that was launched that was supposed to be the biggest thing since sliced bread in cryptocurrency. Launch had almost nothing in it. Had nothing in it. It was created by the founder. It was created by the New York Stock Exchange. I'm blanking on the name of it right now for some reason. But anyway, there's been multiple times where we've seen very small inflows at the beginning. This might happen with the ETF, but the ETF is a much more commercialized product that is more interesting to the average retail investor than anything we've ever seen before. So there's really not a lot of precedence. I think you'll see money to some degree flow in immediately. I think you'll start to see large inflows during the bull market. It'll probably take a few months for people to start realizing, wait a minute, you're serious? I can go buy Bitcoin? Wait a minute. I can take my money out of the stock market and I can put it into, I can put money into Bitcoin? You're serious? Really? And then it's going to happen. You're going to see a large amount of inflows during the bull market. So we shall see. I don't think it's going to be a giant sell the news event. I really don't. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a mile marker where people say this is now not even a new chapter. This is a new book in the history of cryptocurrency, and it's going to only bring enthusiasm to the space. That's what I believe is going to happen. Crypto stocks are outperforming the crypto market currently. A lot of them are, yes, and a big part of the reason for that is because, you guessed it, traditional finance can get access to them. It's one of the reasons why we believe a Bitcoin ETF is going to be so important. Think about if Bitcoin was acting that way. First of all, think about how much better the mining stocks would be doing and all those crypto stocks would be doing if Bitcoin was doing even better. Now think about how much better Bitcoin will be doing than it is doing right now, after it is as easy to get into Bitcoin through the Bitcoin ETFs as it is to get into the cryptocurrency stocks. Make sense? Hopefully so. All right. Pew Pew Poom 2 seem to have a little bit much of the war analogies. Sorry. All right. Let's see. All right. Everybody thinks George and I are at war. I'm not at war with George. George and I are friends. Oh, man. Jebasaurus. Since you're almost a maxi, check out Ordi. Same supply as BTC, BR20 inscriptions. I'm not a maxi. I've got an altcoin. I've been recommending an altcoin portfolio for weeks now, months now. Oh my goodness. Streaming smoothly now, Pete Schwartz said. Yes, if there's any issues with the internet, tell me. Shouldn't be any issues. Not sure why there would be. We've got very good internet. Let's see. Jeb wears his Uggs when he orders it. I don't have any Uggs. What are Uggs? Are those like boots? Oh, those are boots. Oh, those are these. I don't have any of these. I would love a nice pair of Timberlands. If anybody's ever seen Timberlands, oh man, that's my kind of shoe right there. Get some Cheyenne boots. Yeah, that's not Uggs. I'm sorry, not doing Uggs. Can we talk about Cardano? Sure thing. Let's jump back onto CoinMarketCap and talk about some of the altcoins. We've already talked about Binance. We've already talked about Solana. I think both of them are great picks. People are asking, why is Solana down right now? Well, why is Solana up 900% in the last year? Because it's extremely volatile. I'm in Solana. I have some positions in Solana from $60 not that long ago. They're performing very well. But Solana needs a correction. It does. It is massively overextended. I mean, you cannot put to words how overextended Solana is. Does it deserve this much rallying? I think so. Yes. To a certain degree, I think it deserves to have that much of a rally. It did just get, crushed into the floor following FTX, and some of that wasn't its fault. So it having that big of a rally is not really that big of a surprise. That being said, it does need a correction, so don't be surprised if there's a correction on Solana while other cryptocurrencies start to take off. Binance, one I've been wanting to add to my portfolio. A little bit late for this rally, but I do think Binance is going to perform very well in the bull market. I'm going to do my best to get some. I think that Binance taking off is a good sign. There's been several altcoins that have been kind of stalling. Binance was one of them. XRP is another one that haven't really done much during this last 2 months of bullishness, and I've been kind of waiting to see if they're going to kick off. We've seen some of that from XRP. XRP's been a really steady, solid gainer. I'm excited about that, but the last couple of months it's just been up here plateaued at 60 cents. I think that XRP is another pick that's going to end up going parabolic at some point soon. And XRP has this really funny passive, just kind of moonshotting out of nowhere. So you don't, with XRP, you kind of want to dollar cost average into it when you can, because a lot of times this rallies kind of come out of nowhere and then they're gone before you even realize they started. So you do have to be careful with it. As far as Cardano's concerned, Cardano had its huge rally, made a video on it, and now it's cooling off. It needed time to correct. I'm actually pretty excited that it's not dropping like a rock. There's a part of me that thought it was going to fall all the way down to 50 cents, if not even a little bit lower. Hasn't done that. I consider that a win. The fact that Cardano has managed to stay up here is quite exciting. We had multiple different levels that we were thinking it would probably retract to. It has not done that. It is building support here, building a gigantic inverse head and shoulders pattern. A lot of things going very well for Cardano. Very excited for the way that Cardano is performing right now. No criticisms or concerns there. Overall, my same bog standard, common sense, simple recommendations remain. If you're in cryptocurrencies, start right now, today, as soon as this stream is over, by going to some exchange account. I'm using Coinbase. I'm also going to be using a few others. Go to some exchange account, buy something, ideally most of everything in the top 20 to the top 30. Hold it for a year to a year and a half. Bitcoin's going to 100K this bull market. The most viewed video on this channel, it's got 150,000 views almost, is a video of me saying that a certain individual is wrong and that Bitcoin is not going to 100K. Now I'm saying Bitcoin is going to 100K. It's going to happen this bull market. All right? It's coming. So stay tuned, because when it gets here, it's going to be too late. The altcoins, many of them are going to triple, quadruple, quintuple, sextuple, whatever the word is. Septuple. Octuple, they're going to massive nonuple, decuple. They're going to massively rally, and you're going to miss out if you don't get into them now. So, build your portfolio. Dollar cost average. Get in before the ETF, because there's going to be a huge amount of money flowing in after the ETF. All of a sudden, you're going to have a lot more people listening to people like me that are saying buy Bitcoin, because now they actually know how to do it. There's so many people right now. They would probably tune in this stream and say, oh, buy Bitcoin. Oh, cool. How do I do that? Oh, crap. Can't do that. Now I can just say, well, hey, if you got a Fidelity, go type in BTC or go type in iBit for iShares. Hit buy. That's how you do it. It's that simple. It is that simple with an ETF. It's not, all right, I got to take money out. I got to do this tax form. I got to take this penalty. I got to move it over here. Or I got to first find out about iTrust Capital. I got to move over to iTrust Capital. I like iTrust Capital. I recommend iTrust Capital. But a lot of people don't know how to do that. And it's still a barrier to entry. Even though it's a lower barrier to entry than it could have been, it is still a barrier to entry. When I can say, go over to Fidelity, Vanguard, Robinhood, wherever you are, and say, type in iBit, buy Bitcoin. Boom. That simple. You've got a lot of money showing up into the cryptocurrency space. So what do we need to do right now? We need to be filling up our bags and preparing for when that frenzy starts. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. It does not have to be crazy complicated. People want to make it super complicated, like you got to pick this tiny altcoin, and there's nothing wrong with that. Start off by doing what I'm saying, and then if you want to go and try and find the next altcoin to moonshot, the next meme coin to go parabolic, then sure, do that. But you are gambling. Let me make that very clear. If you are betting on a meme coin that you have no track record for, going parabolic and going vertical, you are gambling. There are different reasons why you might believe that a certain cryptocurrency might rally. I'm not saying that that's wrong. You could say, hey, look, I happen to know that this group over here, and I don't agree with it, but they're about to pump this coin. Cool. Well, I mean, don't get, there's areas where you don't want to help people manipulate the market. But let's say you have some kind of information that the market's about to rally. Sure, fine. But a lot of times people are just saying, we're going to see this meme coin's going to moonshot, buy it, and you're going to get rich. The Bible says that those who get rich often will lose it very quickly, oftentimes as quickly as they gained it. It is far better for us to invest in an approach that is lower risk, except still extremely high return, so that we have a higher risk to reward ratio. And the way that you can do that is by investing in Bitcoin to start with. After that, investing in the top 20 to 30 cryptocurrencies, specifically blue chip cryptocurrencies, altcoins. I define those thus. They have been around for at least one bull market. They have set an all-time high. They are in a major rally right now. Their fundamentals are as strong or stronger than before. And with all of that in mind, they have a positive outlook moving into the bull market. Most of the top 20 falls into that category. Ethereum falls into that category. XRP falls into that category. Cardano does. Avalanche does. Solana does. Many of these altcoins had a major all-time high run last bull market. They went through a major corrective movement. They're on a rally right now. Their fundamentals are as strong or stronger than before. The ecosystem is growing in strength, where it's going to be as strong or stronger than it was in 2021 and 2020 and 2021. And so it's expected that those altcoins will at least return to all-time high. That's the investment thesis that I am carrying right now. Do that, you will be so very blessed, because I do believe that you build that portfolio, it is going to rally a few 100% this bull market. You put some money into that every month, you could make tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Is it nice to pick a meme coin and get rich off of it? Yes, it is. And I actually know a guy that did that. He's a viewer of the channel. I've run into him twice. Can't recall his name, but I have a picture of him up on my Twitter. You can scroll back. I met him about a week before I got married. So it was late February of the year before last when I first ran into him. He said, Jeb, I know you. I said, really? What's up? He said, I watch your channel. It's like, oh, cool. How you doing? We're in Publix. Walks up to me next to the freezer aisle. You know what he says? He says, Jeb, I made $453,000 because I bought the right coin. I sold at the right time. I look at him like, whoa, man. That's awesome. He told me he made 453 or 400. It's 400 something, right? 472, 424, whatever. I said, I was kind of scared to ask. I was like, did you sell it? Did you lock that in? Like, yeah. So I run into him a year later. I was buying a new phone because I dropped a 30-pound dumbbell on my last phone. To buy a bunch of new furniture for the new house that I just bought with the money I made from that trade I told you about. I said, wow, that's so cool. You know how many people I've met thousands of people in cryptocurrency. I have been to conferences, and hundreds of you guys have run up to me in the same day. I had a guy run up to me in a conference a year and a half ago, and he said, Jeb, are you on cocaine? I kid you not. This Jamaican dude, he's like 20 feet tall, wearing army fatigues, walks up to me. He's right next to Rand's booth. I'm literally like 3 feet from Rand Nooner. And runs up to me, and he goes, Jeb. He's got this thick Jamaican accent. He goes, are you on cocaine? I'm like, what? What? I'm sorry, what did you say? He's got this really thick accent. He's really excited. Are you on cocaine? What did he say? I asked him like 9 times. Because there's no way this man just walked up to me and asked me if I'm on coke, right? He did. And he asked me, are you on cocaine? I was like, no. What? I've got a big person. No. And so I've had many of you guys walk up to me. Some pretty funny stories. Tom Wilkes ran into, he might be in chat. I've seen him in public. I've met many of you guys in public. Matt C, met him in public, had lunch with him. I know you guys, right? OMAC, I know a lot of you guys. You know how many people have walked up to me and told me they've made life-changing wealth because they bet on a meme coin or on one altcoin? One person. That one guy. I am a cryptocurrency YouTuber with 250,000 subscribers. I've heard that story once. One time. I can't tell you how many hundreds of times I've heard of people say, yeah, I got into the space and man, I kind of just put it all into a meme coin or into this one altcoin and I just kind of lost 70%. I got kind of bored with it, so I just quit. That's normally the story that I hear. My point here is don't bet on getting lucky and on picking one altcoin. It's not, statistically speaking, and I've got a large enough sample size to be able to say that, it is statistically speaking not going to work. It might. And again, there are times where you're like, I happen to know that this project is launching. I happen to know that it's got this person behind it. That's fundamental analysis. I'm not knocking fundamental analysis. I'm saying don't bet the farm on getting rich on a green lightsaber. Pick a strategy that makes sense, that works with historical analysis. And the best thing that I can share with you that I believe you can go and apply today to make money in this space, because I want to help you, is go buy the top 20, buy the blue chips. Again, I just defined a blue chip cryptocurrency. Scrub back 5 minutes. I'll save you time and not repeat myself. Go buy the top 20, top 30 blue chips. Make sure not to neglect Bitcoin and hold it. and you will make hundreds of percent. And if that's not good enough for you in 18 months, you really need to consider why that's not. Can you make 15,000% somewhere? Sure. But you're going to have a lot of luck to make that kind of return. Can you make several hundred, if not 1,000% pretty reliably? Yeah, you can. Okay? So get a side hustle. Cut up the credit cards if you can't pay them off at the end of the month. You know, by the way, let me just kind of come down on this. If you've got credit cards and you can't pay them off at the end of the month, there's only two right answers. There's only two right things to do. Either one, you cut them in half and you cancel them, or two, you set those suckers on auto pay and you overdraft your bank account and you get the call from the banker. You're like, oh, I don't want to hear them. They're gonna say you overdrafted the bank account. And you know what you do? You pick up the phone and take your discipline and say, yeah, I'll pay you the $29.99 overdraft fee. You take the overdraft. That's what you do. If Amazon's showing up at your house every single day, but you can't show up at Coinbase once a week to buy Solana and Cardano and XRP, you got a problem. Okay? So let's get out of the stupid debt. Let's put aside the frivolous expenses. By the way, eating at Longhorn Steakhouse is not the same thing as buying groceries. That's not food. That's entertainment. That's somebody else doing dishes for you and putting some salt and pepper on a steak for you. You can cook at home. Lower your expenses, live below your means, and invest. If you want to make a change in your finances, stop thinking that it's going to happen because you picked the right altcoin. That's not as simple as it works. Invest in a good strategy, a sound strategy that has worked and will continue to work. And put a few $100s a month, put $1,000 a month, put a few $1,000s a month into altcoins, and don't neglect the stock market. You ought to have a Roth IRA or a 401k with a match. You ought to do that. Do that too, because we're laying foundations, right? Start off by getting out of debt and living a life below your means. Start out there. Make sure you got something going into a tax advantage retirement account in the stock market every single month. Make sure you got something going into Bitcoin every month. Make sure you got something going into altcoins every single month. Then, after you've done all of that, then you step back and you say, all right, I have now set myself up where I'm basically guaranteed to succeed in the next 10 years. I am almost certainly going to be worth considerably more in 10 years than I am right now. Now that I've laid the foundation of wisdom and I've done it the right way. Because two ways to do something, right and again. I don't want you to make a bunch of money and then lose it all and then have to do it again. You can either do it the right way the first time, or you'll have to do it right way the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, or never get it at all. Do it the right way now. After you've laid those foundations, being frugal, living below your means, not playing the debt game. There are ways that you can use debt responsibly. I get that. You would rather put $300,000 into cryptocurrency than $300,000 into your property when you're paying 4% on your mortgage. I get it. All right. That's not my point. After you've got those foundations, then sure, if you're like, okay, I think this altcoin's about to pop off. Great. You know what? You earned it. Go have a moon bag. I've got some moon bags, right? Do it. Lay those foundations first. You know what that's called? There's a word for that. It's called financial sovereignty. It is being in control over your finances and having a rationale for why you do what you do. I have made so many mistakes, and I've seen so many people make mistakes with their finances because they didn't do what I just said. And you know what? I speak on authority on what I'm saying here, not because I have everything right, but because I know most of what I just said is nothing more than a restated principle out of this good book. If you try and make money quickly, you are bound to lose it quickly. How many times have you seen somebody win the lottery and then go on to be a billionaire because they took their $50 million winnings and they turned it into a $2 billion business empire? That's happened before. It doesn't happen very often because if you are going to build wealth, you've got to first understand how to manage it. And the way you understand how to manage it is by building it. So let's build our wealth the right way. Let's get out of this notion that we're going to be able to build it without trying. Let's get out of this get rich quick nonsense that you've been fed by influencers because they want you to buy their course. I have a course. I would love if you buy it. If you don't, that's fine. But I'm not trying to teach you, do this one thing, get rich next week. No, I'm trying to teach you, build this skill set, put it to work, make money with it. Right? You want to go make 400 grand as a heart surgeon? I'm going to teach you how to do heart surgery. Obviously, I don't know how to do that, but that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I want to teach you the skill sets to go and make that life-changing wealth, and you can. On a soapbox, man. On a soapbox. What aisle at Publix is the sauerkraut? I love YouTube comments. Just go from up here, like, do this, do this, do this. What else is sauerkraut on? I've got no idea. I don't remember the last time I had sauerkraut. And I will tell you right now, I don't look forward to the next time I do. I do not like sauerkraut. Even the name, I'm like, I mean, I take that back. It's a funny name. It's a cool name. It's German. Yeah. Is Longhorn any good? Longhorn is amazing. Longhorn is incredible. If you go to Longhorn, you got to try the appetizer. It's like this chicken. I cannot stand celery. I can't stand it. But they put a piece of celery on it, and for some reason it makes it better. I don't know. Like, listen, I like eating out. When I started making money, I tell you what, that money went into waiters' pockets and into chefs' pockets. But just remember, eating out is a luxury. Groceries are a necessity. And you can overdo it on groceries, too. All right. Good deal. If anybody sees George at Publix, ask him, are you on cocaine? Publix is awesome. Publix is awesome. And expensive. We don't do our weekly shopping at Publix. We go to Publix sometimes, but you can get the same thing for a lot cheaper and spend the difference investing in the cryptocurrency market by going to somewhere like Aldi or to Walmart. I hate Walmart. I cannot stand Walmart. Show of hands. Who likes Walmart? Just sit on my hands real quick. Sam Walton was a good man. He built a good company, but his successors have run that company under the ground. Queen said financial sovereignty or nada. That's right. All right, guys. Well, we are over time. I hope you have enjoyed today's live stream. I'm really looking forward to continuing to bring you guys content as always. If you did enjoy today's stream, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to sign up for NordVPN because one of those foundations that I talked about is security. You got to make sure that your security is in place. You got to make sure that your sovereignty is in place where you're in charge of where you go on the internet, right? That's up to you. That should be your decision. Make sure that you are able to browse freely and safely without getting hacked, having eavesdroppers and thieves and phishing emails get at you. NordVPN is not going to replace you being a faithful steward of your passwords. It is not going to be a magic pill that lets you be irresponsible, but it is going to help to protect you by keeping the bad guys out. So if you've not already, make sure to sign up for NordVPN with the link in the description box down below. You're going to get a huge discount. You're going to get 4 months free. If you sign up for the 2-year plan, you can do it all risk-free with a 30-day money-back refund guarantee. Really appreciate NordVPN for sponsoring the channel. And don't forget, Lux Algo. Lux Algo is absolutely exploding right now in the technical indicator space. They're blowing up, and for very good reason. You can actually get access to Lux Algo right now with a holiday sale. If you go over there, I think they're doing 35% off. Massive deals. So go sign up for Lux Algo if you haven't already. Huge deal going on right now. 45% off Essentials, 55% off the Premium, 60% off Ultimate. Go sign up right now with the link in the description box down below. You'll be helping to support the channel and getting access to all of these sales and everything. So make sure you check it out. Again, links in the description box down below. And also, don't forget the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy over here, where you're going to learn everything that you need to know about technical analysis, and we're going to simplify technical analysis so it's something that you can actually process. It's a place where you can come and learn TA in a digestible way. Many of you guys are very busy. You've got businesses, you've got families, you've got jobs. You don't have the thousands of hours that I've spent learning technical analysis. You need a bite-sized course that you can go through in a month or two by watching it for 5 or 10 minutes every single day, applying it for 5, 10, 15 minutes every single day, learning, and then applying it to your investment. I believe that an investment in your education is the best investment you'll ever make, and if you're working in the cryptocurrency space, you need to understand technical analysis. I don't believe it's a want. I do believe it's a need, because it is so important that you make the right decisions, because the difference between making a decision that will cost you a ton of money and make you a ton of money is how educated that decision is. So make sure you're making wise and educated financial decisions with technical analysis to back them by signing up for Club DeFi's, for signing up for the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy over in Club DeFi. You can find a link in the description box down below. I look forward to seeing you guys over there. We had a bunch of people sign up recently. Gian Heath said Aldi is the best. Aldi is awesome. L Tam said it changed a lot. Yeah, I remember back when I was like 7, Walmart wasn't that bad. Man. Costco treats their employees so well. That's why they get my business. We don't have a Costco near us, but I've heard about it. Pew Pew Poom 2 said, been here roasting Jeb since 2020. Lol. It's all in love. It's all in love. Good to see you, Pew Pew Poom 2. All right. Guys, we are going to wrap it out. I hope you did enjoy today's video. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good